I'm Matt Fontana from ESPN Cleveland. Gerard Cherry with us as well. And you hear Gerard and I talk so much about Revitalize Weight Loss and Wellness. The man himself, Dr. Abood from Revitalize with us. And we wanted to make this video. So we talk so much. Gerard and I, we talk about Revitalize almost every day on the next level. But there's so many people out there that have questions that are maybe even nervous to ask. So we want to put this video together just to answer as many questions, almost like a mini roundtable. Gerard and I did the program, Dr. Abood did the program to start this all off and just really to answer and get all the questions out there that anybody might have. You can always reach out. You're obviously watching this on thinkthincleveland.com, but you can always reach out with any other questions you might have to Dr. Abood and his staff. But Dr. Abood, we just want to start there with so many people that come in to Revitalize for a lot of different reasons. A lot of them are health related, could be a little bit of vanity, but you had a saying you gave to us not too long ago about what Revitalize can do in changing your life and just so many different issues and symptoms you might have. Revitalize might be an answer for a lot of them.
It is, and I was telling you guys that story about the mountain road in California where cars were winding up the mountain, but they were falling off and crashing at the bottom of the hill, and that's when they finally decided, let's just put up a guardrail, and it saved the EMS and the city so much money. Mm-hmm. And the moral of the story was, I think in healthcare today we're treating symptoms. It's like, oh, I've got diabetes, I'll take this pill. I'll take a CPAP machine because I can't sleep well for snoring, or I'll take a blood pressure medicine. Whereas the research is really clear. If we can just take the weight off and get our weight balanced, then our bodies don't need all these pills. So let's, instead of treating the symptom, treat the underlying cause, which is typically obesity.
Well, and Gerard, you and I weren't dealing with that stuff yet, but you never know. We find out about our visceral fat. It can be a one-stop shop for so many solutions and much cheaper. Think about paying for erectile dysfunction pills and diabetes pills and paying for therapy on your knees and your legs. There's so many things that can change.
Right. And it gives you a chance to be, I say, preemptive or proactive as opposed to reactive, because the problem is Dr. Abood just describing, what Matt's saying is if you're waiting till the last minute to get these things checked, I understand dieting and what you ingest and put into your body is so crucial, but if you're putting the wrong things in there and on top of that, over years, decades, all of a sudden you're saying, okay, now I need to address this, it may be too late. But the beautiful thing about Revitalize is it gives you a chance to restart what you've already done the damage to. So I'm very pro it because I'm looking at the results right now, and heck, you're looking at the results, and the results is that I lost 20 pounds in 20 days, and I'm still, and that was 2 years ago, seeing the benefits of it to this very day because I have a program in place. I have guardrails in which Dr. Abood talked about, so when I'm getting off track, I know how to get back on.
You got it. And Matt, by the way, if I knew I was going to be sitting next to Gerard, I'd be wearing a long sleeve shirt.
No, that's all right. I mean, the arms are taking up a lot of the frame over there. That's all right. But that is, you talk about that new lease on life, and Gerard, same thing. Professional athlete that had put on some weight. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'd say this at 30 years old, I'm in the best shape of my life. Better than when I was 25. Better when I was playing college football. There's so many things where people are at different stages of their life. But through the technology, this is not a workout program. Mm-hmm. You're actually not supposed to break a sweat. This is not something where you go to your gym and just bust your ass for 3 hours. It's technology, Dr. Abood, but there's no reason that at 55, you can't be the healthiest of your life. At 65, you could be the healthiest of your life. There's no reason that at any stage of your life, this could be the healthiest part of your life.
I really agree with that, and I think people don't believe that. But it's amazing when the technology is now available to take so much of that guesswork out of weight loss, rather than, like we talked about that story, you go into an optometrist's office and me and you walk in together. What would ever make me think that you and I would get the same eyeglass prescription? That's ridiculous, right? But isn't weight loss seems like, oh, read this book. Yeah. One weight loss program for everybody.
Hey, it worked for my buddy down the street. Oh, it'll work for me. Is your buddy you? You don't know.
Does he have the same biochemistry that you have? No, unless you're identical twins, chances are you don't have the same makeup from a DNA standpoint, what works well with your body. But here's another thing too, and I heard this the other day, and I feel this way being on the program. I had a buddy of mine, he said, yeah, man, I'm perpetually 35, and I'm in my 40s. But I feel like I'm in my 30s, and someone's saying, I'm not saying this to be braggadocious, but I think I look like I'm in my 30s as well. And I can certainly tell you that the program played a part in that because I'm able to keep the weight off, and I know what works well and fuels my system better because of the system.
And part of that, Dr. Abood, to explain to the people, we always talk about that technology. And you go in, the body composition analysis is how everything kicks it off. That is literally a biometric reading of your body. But the biggest thing that comes out of that, we talk about metabolic age, which is, basically how old your metabolism is. If I'm 30 years old, I want my metabolic age to be close to 30. By the way, when I went in when I was 26, my metabolic age was 52. Got it down to 37, which was where I need to be. Visceral fat, which we talk about so much, but it comes down to the breakdowns of proteins, vegetables, and fruits on what your body metabolizes well and doesn't. Talk about how important that is for the system and why that is important for anyone just to actually know for you,
What is for you. However, there's two parts. On the initial part, you'll spend an hour with us, an hour and a half. And we do a scan that it's a machine called the Tanita, and it's what life insurance companies use to kind of assess what are my risk factors. So it's going to tell us not just my weight, but what is my metabolic age? What is my metabolism like? What is my visceral fat, the fat around my heart and liver and kidneys? And then what is my hydration levels? And it's amazing. We have 30-year-old men in there that have the metabolic age of a 90-year-old man. So that means when food goes into their body, it doesn't go anywhere. Right. They can't digest it. You remember when you were in college, you could just eat and burn it.
Right, yeah.
That's our goal, is to get you back to that. I don't want you going to a restaurant with a food scale or anything. Just eat. But we give us 40 days to change your life. That's what we say, is to kind of shift that biochemical imbalance, because something went haywire.
Right.
After menopause or divorce or illness or job loss or whatever. Internal system went crazy, and then your body holds on to fat.
And there are so many things that you might not even know about. It's just, my favorite line is people that go, you just gain weight when you get older. Well, yes, but you don't have to.
Right.
It is harder as you get older to burn that fat off, but I see so many people, again, of my age, of being around 30, I'm starting to get to that point where on Facebook I see more of the kids' pictures now, and there are plenty of people that are married, but there are plenty of people that I see, I know you from 10 years ago, and you are unrecognizable to me of what I knew, and it's all weight gain, and I go, it doesn't, it's in a way a choice, it's harder for some people, but it starts with that first choice to do something about it.
But you got to understand where they're coming from. They're trying the old standard diet and exercise routine, and then they're frustrated and they're hungry the whole time on the program. Whereas we're saying, I love that saying you said to me 3 years ago. You said, let's do this smarter, not harder. And so if we can just take 40 days to change your internal environment, all of a sudden, because I see how you guys eat. You eat normal, right? You don't have to eat weird food or anything like that. Your body burns it now where it didn't burn it prior.
And the thing, too, is if you have a dormant lifestyle and it's really sedentary, it doesn't have to be that way. Because a lot of times, if you think about it, if you're eating the wrong things and you're not feeling good about what you're eating, you're going to want to sit down and do nothing much. So if you get a program that tells you what works well with your system, that energy that you get from it, there's a noticeable difference for me based on what I consume. I mean, my energy levels are off the chart if I'm eating the right things, and I have an idea, and I don't have an idea, I know what the right things are because of the program. So I would just say again, if you don't have an idea of what works well with your system, and that is your energy source, because if you're putting the wrong type of grade of gas in your vehicle, guess what? It's going to break down the engine. The same dynamics work with your body as well, in that your internal system even more finely tuned and obviously more important because it's you, and without it, you can't survive.
So off of that, Dr. Abood, let's say somebody is interested, we'll just walk them through the first step, the body composition analysis, which we talk so much about. You mentioned all the things that it kind of goes through. People can just walk into the office, they can schedule it, but what exactly is that test? I tell people all the time, there is no blood work involved with this. You put your hand in a computer, it's pretty cool.
It is so exciting, and it sounds like craziness, but we're putting your hand on a sensor, and it's measuring these minute changes in your body's biochemistry. And then that provides the data that we need. And then the software program's amazing because it can interpret that data and produce a report. And it will say, here's the food specific to your body versus your body. It's going to say the top proteins, top vegetables, and top fruits. It's also going to say, your body was depleted in X, Y, and Z vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. And we can supply that for you. And once your body gets what it might have been craving for 10, 20, 30 years, all of a sudden it's like, oh, thank you, right?
Yeah,
and the weight just starts rolling.
Yeah.
So you were losing about a pound a day. You were losing a pound a day, and that's what we expect to see in the typical male.
I literally lost a pound a day, and I just did the 20-day program. We recommend you do the full 40, but the 20 a day in 20 days, pound a day, pound a day. But here's the part that I appreciated most, because there are going to be these moments where you're like, okay, why am I doing this? But when you get that timely text or that piece of encouragement just to keep fighting the good fight and accomplishing something that's so hard to do, it's not a magic elixir involved. I like to say that all the time. But it's sheer technology, know-how, and guidance that Dr. Abood and his staff provides.
That guidance, weekly checkups, daily text messages, and that's where, you always put it the best, Dr. Abood. We want you to come in because over the, a week process, right? Let's say that you should be losing 7 pounds. Well, really, you should be losing somewhere about 10 pounds in that time. Well, if you come in and you only lost 6, that's great. But on this program, we expect better and more, and if we need to make a little tweak, we will, because in those 20 days or 40 days, we want you burning through the entire time.
And that's what we'll analyze too. We're going to meet one-on-one, not a group session. It's one-on-one, you and your coach. You'll be texting me every day because I'll catch these little things before they become big things. We want to maximize this 40 days together.
And Gerard, to your point, how many people, they do a diet for a week and they go, I only lost 3 pounds, I'm done. But with Revitalize, I was excited to wake up every day to step on the scale and go, how much weight did I lose yesterday? Because of the 40 days I did, there was only 5 days I didn't lose some sort of weight. So every day you're waking up and you're going, wow, I lost a pound. I lost 1.5 pounds. The motivation was always there.
And there's a plan. There's a guide.
Right.
You're not on your own.
You're not
figuring this thing out.
Yeah.
So that's the part too that's really encouraging. So if you're a check the box type of a person and you need parameters, they have that for you as well. And that's the beautiful thing about the program, is that it works with all personality types. Be you type A or type B, it's going to work for you because of what Dr. Abood and his staff provides.
So people come in, they do the body composition analysis, which we talked about, and they're free to go. They don't have to sign up for the program if they don't. But if they do sign up for the program, 20 days or 40 days, there are a couple stages and steps within that program. First, there's so talk about that. So they sign up, we're ready to go. Let's just say today is Monday, and they can start the program today. What would the first process?
First couple days. We want to get all the healthy fats and oils into your body, and some people load up a little more than others.
Almost like your Dr. Abood, it's your last meal. Go ahead, go crazy.
Put a 5-pound meal in that day.
Do what you need to do. But okay, so that's
But we just want your body to get used to the new vitamins, minerals, supplements you're taking. Then day 1 starts the 40-day or the 20-day process, and we're giving you unlimited vegetables, as many vegetables as you want, as long as it's on your approved sheet, based on your body's temperament. And then you'll be eating about 10 to 12 ounces of protein a day and fruit for dessert. You can have black coffee. You can have the thing I would ask you guys is, and I can say this is true of 95% of our clients, they are not hungry.
No.
Would you agree?
No, Gerard, I would, and the nice thing is you're living a normal life. Sometimes when you diet, and this is something else we want to talk about with the real food, you are cooking in your kitchen. Some people might prefer a diet plan where they get boxed cardboard food. That's not Revitalize, because you get a cookbook to base off of what the science tells you. You're cooking in your own kitchen. So what I would do is I would just double it up, and it'd be for my wife and I was cooking dinner for her. But Gerard, cooking in your kitchen, you felt normal, and I was never hungry because I was still eating lunch and dinner. A lot of people go, oh, intermittent fasting. Oh, I'll just skip a meal. Well, now you're getting into starvation mode. That does not going to help. I was not hungry on the program.
Well, initially for me, I was in a situation where I was consuming 4,000 to 5,000 calories a day. So going from that to being below 1,000, it was an initial shock to my system. But once I got in the program a week and a half in of my 20 days, it was no problem. And actually what took place after my 20 days is that I lost actually 4 or 5 more pounds. I was like, look, Dr. Abood, I don't want to be this skinny.
Yeah, I remember you
so I'm going to cut it back on.
What a good problem to have. I don't want to be this skinny.
Yeah.
But it's funny because Dr. Abood, we've talked about this, is my portion control years later has changed, where I realize I don't need to be eating that many wings or that much of that. And, I'm off the program now. I'm still living great, feeling great, looking great. But it's funny how it'll have a lifelong impact for me.
But doesn't that make sense? Like if your biochemistry, internal environment is messed up, you're going to crave bread or sugar or, I hear people, I'm a carbo junkie. As soon as we get into day 3 or 4 in the program and you're living off that excess fat, all of a sudden your cravings change. And when you're done 2-3 years later, it's like, I don't need that.
Right.
But see, people will see me in a restaurant sometimes, and they'll see me eating pasta or whatever, and they go, "Oh, you're not allowed." Yes, I am. Now my body can handle it.
Right.
But it used to, and I tell this story. I used to embarrass my wife. We'd go to a Mexican restaurant and we'd do the salt. They bring the salsa and chips. I kept another bowl, please. You know, I just couldn't get enough. Now I'll eat 8, 9, 10 chips, and I'm done. It's not like I'm sitting there looking at the bowl saying, "Oh, I want more." It's just I'm done. I don't want any more.
On top of like things changing, but you know, Drada, I've always said this too, is I'm not going back there. I don't want to go back there, and I almost think of the work that I put in, where, like you said, there's no shot, there's no magic shake, there's nothing, but you put work in to do this. And I'm not going back there. I don't want to go back there for the work. So here we are again, years later, still reaping the benefits of that. Exactly. It just changes your whole mentality.
Exactly, because prior to being on Revitalize, I could sparingly run because I was weighing in the 250s. And I still worked out, so I was really bulky, would be the best way to describe it. But I couldn't run. And I actually love running for, and this may sound crazy to some of you out there, for comfort. I enjoy running. I don't enjoy running long distances, but I enjoyed sprinting and things that are in tune with track. I couldn't do that because my joints simply couldn't handle the extra weight. I dropped 20 pounds, and guess what? I run all the time now, and I post stuff about me running, and the cool thing is the recovery time is much better because I don't carry the excess weight, and on top of that, I'm eating the right things that gives my body the chance to recover in a proper way as well. So that's another benefit that I didn't even realize I would get from the program.
Cool. Very nice.
So Dr. Abood, you go through the 20 days for Drod, 40 days for myself. You know, you've seen fantastic results. What is the final stage of the process of just, you know, going through one round, as we so to speak, with
once
Revitalize?
we reach your goal, then we want to lock in that weight, establish it. There's a part of the brain called the hypothalamus, and that says, this is your new set point. For example, like a thermostat, lowering it 20 degrees, lowering it 20 pounds. That's your new set point. So once we establish that, once we reach the goal that you want to reach, I want to meet you every month, once a month. Come hell or high water, meet with us. Because so many programs, you're out on an island, right? You're doing it all by yourself. And you're like, should I do this? I don't know. Or we're here to encourage you, scold you, whatever we need to do. But it might take 9 or 10 months to establish that new set point. Your set point's established. Yours is established. It might take that long of hovering around your new weight. So we want to walk you through the program. And no other program that I know of is doing that. It's going to walk you through it. And it's all included. It doesn't cost you anything to do that.
And the other thing is, well, real quick on the hypothalamus, because there's times where, you know, you get back from a long weekend of vacation or maybe, you know, eating a little bit extra, drinking a little bit extra, and then a couple days later you kind of realize, like, wow, I'm actually back to where I was. Like, because to that point, Dr. Abood, your brain knows, hey, this is what weight you should be, so they kind of figure it out. You know, after that, it's naturally figuring it out. So resetting that is so important. But the other thing about Revitalize is, if you are trying to lose some serious weight, and we talk about that word obesity, which is so scary, you can sign right back up for the program because this is safe and science-based. So if you lost 30 or 40 pounds on your first go and you still got another 30 to go, you can sign right back up.
Yeah, just $75 a month, and you can keep doing as many as you want. It's really it's easy to do in that respect.
Correct.
But the thing I would like to talk about is that I know where my feeling was, and I've done it 5 years ago, and I've been able to keep the weight off. But I've jumped up 7-8 pounds around Christmas for certain years. I just pull my old chart out, my readings, and hit it for 2 or 3 days, and I'm back on track.
Right.
But the average person, and I know how I feel, is I don't have the energy. I don't know if I have what it takes. I've tried dieting in the past. I've lost the weight, then gained it back. What makes this program any different than any other one? You know, and I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, I'll start by saying, again, you have the ability to go back and recapture what you may have lost for a weekend or 2 weeks or even a month, and even longer, in that it's in your system, it's in your brain beyond your hypothalamus of how and what is required of you to get the job done. And so once you've had that experience, and I guess because of my background as an athlete, the discipline that comes with that makes it easy for me to get back on track. But if you find yourself saying, well, I've never had discipline when it comes to what I eat, you put these 40 days in, it's going to change your life, because they say, some statistics says it takes 40 days to make something that was become a habit.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing that applies here as well. And that 40 days that you apply to doing this program and being on it, what's going to happen is it's going to be a part of you and become a part of your soul, if you will, of how you think and how you feel about yourself. So that's how I'm able to get back on track. And it could be a week where I'm like, you know what, I am struggling. I'm not eating properly, but then, boom, focus on it. Okay, here's what I'm trying to do. And next thing you know, I'm back to losing the pounds. I'm back to doing a proper calorie intake. I'm not eating the foods that would mess me up, like broccoli, like turkey. And you probably hear that, broccoli and turkey. Yeah, those things don't work well in my system. So you know what I do? I eliminate them. And there used to be a time where I eat a turkey sandwich every other day because I like turkey that much. Did not know that it was hurting me in the process. So for me, it's having the insight, knowing what I need to do, and the ability to go back and do it because I was taught by Dr. Abood how to be self-sufficient and, most importantly, independent.
Why I think it worked so well for me was the structure. It was because, I tried diets in the past, but I was winging it. I didn't know, and then, like you said, the frustration would come in. I think a couple things would revitalize. Number one, there is a money factor, and that's where I'm going to spend money on this. I better get my dollars out of this. If I'm spending money on this, I better get my dollar worth. And that is, folks, I'm telling you, that is a hell of a motivation to not waste money.
It's an investment in yourself, too.
It's an investment in yourself. Right. The number two part was the weekly meetings. I can't tell you guys how important that was for me to know on Tuesday mornings. Tuesdays were my day, and I knew Tuesdays I was there. Real easy to get to, by the way, just right off 422 on the east side, so it's easy for everybody. But I remember saying that kept me motivated to go. I didn't want to go in there and then just go, oh, well, you had a good week. No, I wanted them to go, oh my gosh, Matt, your hydration levels are way up. Your metabolic age dropped 3 years in a week. I wanted that motivation was so great. But also the biggest thing was the structure led to results. And every day being able to wake up and go, I haven't seen that number in years. Stepping on that scale and go, I have not seen that number in years. And every day there was a new number where I go, I hadn't seen that in years. Oh my gosh, I broke 220. When's the last time? I broke 215. I wrestled that in high school. I haven't been there. And I gotta tell you guys, the biggest one was 210 pounds. I started out. And Dr. Abood, one of the first questions you ask everybody, what do you want to weigh? And I go, really? This is great. I get to pick that? I went from 240 pounds. I said 210. I got all the way to 206. And I was going, I haven't seen this number on a scale that I'm standing on in years. The motivation, the structure was outstanding.
And when I got into the 2 teens, I was like, all right, this is too much.
Right?
I want some.
Right.
But it's individualized.
Right,
That's
exactly.
what we want to do. It's not a one-size-fits-all.
There is a 20-pound guarantee, Dr. Abood, but I can tell you, Drew, I can tell you, and you can certainly say that the success stories are way beyond that. People are losing weight because, again, this is safe and science-based. You have seen fantastic results in the 20 and 40-day programs.
Yeah, and it is. And I hear what you're saying, and I think the average person listening might say, oh, my gosh, is that safe to lose that much weight over this? We have doctors, we have knee and hip surgeons referring to us because it's unsafe to do an operation if someone's BMI is too high. So they need someone to do it in a healthy way. So we have doctors, team from the professional team sending us their players. It's not some flash in the pan because you're eating regular food, nothing weird, no boxes and bags, and you have the individualized coaching. And I get so excited about it. I'm not here to but I don't think anybody else is doing it.
No. The other thing is, Gerard, sometimes people, and Dr. Abood too, I'm sure you see a lot of people that come in, their daily routine is probably the same. They wake up, they stop for a coffee and a high caloric, a bagel or a pastry. Okay, great. Lunch, everybody's going out for lunch. Yeah, I'll grab a fatty fast food type thing. Oh, dinner, kids are late. We got soccer practice, we've got football, we've got to get somewhere. Let's just stop at the drive-thru. That becomes one day, and then it becomes 3 days a week, and then it becomes 4, because it's easier. It is easier in today's day and age to find high caloric and fatty foods out there, and you might be in that little bit of a rut. Maybe you are in a situation where you're waking up and every day is the same. That was another thing about Revitalize. I woke up every day with a goal, with a mission, a mission that particular day. Your texts in the morning were always great. It was always some motivational piece in the morning. But it was great because I woke up every day feeling like, today's a day I'm going to lose even more weight, and I can't wait to try this new meal out of the cookbook, or I can't wait for this. It really is a great motivator.
Yeah, it challenges you, and at the same time, it encourages you, and that's like the perfect dynamic. You're challenged and you're encouraged, and some days you may need more encouragement than being challenged, but they find a way to fit it just properly and correct for who you are and what you're trying to accomplish. So again, we are able to testify about this because we're living proof that it works. 2 years removed, 3 years removed, 5 years removed, And it's fair to say, I think we look like we're healthy and in shape. Knock on some wood.
Yeah, right.
Dr. Abood, you've had so many people come through. What are some of the big success stories that stand out to you? Obviously, Gerard and I talk about it, but there are people that come in and say, I want to be around for my grandchildren. There are people that came in with diabetes, ankle problems, knee problems, erectile dysfunction, serious, heart disease type areas that it's changed their lives. These are daily stories at Revitalize.
And it's so fun because people come in, I have X, Y, and Z problem, and we say, well, let's focus on this problem, the obesity, the excess, the inflammation, the biochemical imbalance, and all of a sudden these things, we have patients every day. My doctor got me off my blood pressure. My doctor got me off the diabetes medicine. We get photos of women in their wedding dress 30 years after. This is the first time I can fit in it. And as you said, every week, you have to come in for a checkup, and so we have our coaches sitting at desks, and it's so not uncommon to walk around and see one person crying happy tears, another hugging our staff. It's the greatest place to work. I just love it. And you know how it is when you're not feeling your best, you're not dressing well, you might not be caring for yourself.
Scared about pictures. Been there, was there. Go, man, what's this picture going to look like? Or, and to kind of wrap this up, always can reach out, thinkthincleveland.com. Contact is on there if we didn't get to something that you wanted to with Dr. Abood, but the biggest message is you've got to take that first step, and there is a motivator out there for you. Hopefully, maybe you heard something in this video, or as I'm going to call a little bit of a podcast of us today. Maybe there was something that really resonated with you or caught it, but there is motivation out there for you. There's got to be something. Reach out, thinkthincleveland.com. You can do the body composition analysis and never come back. It is a zero judgment zone. Right. There's no issues with that. But, Gerard, there was a motivator for you. There was a motivator for me. For me, it was a number on the scale. When I hit 240, I knew that was enough. Maybe for other people, it's a picture or something. But there's some motivation out there for you to sign up and make the change.
Certainly, the whole visceral fat piece for me, and whoa, okay, I need to do something about this. And just, again, not feeling the best I possibly could and losing the weight did that for me. And I like the saying that we've coined of 40 days to change your life. It's true. That's real talk here.
I always say, Dr. Abood, what a trade. 40 days for me to erase 3 years of bad eating leading up and 3 years after. Folks, think about 40 days.
When is the Browns season opener? How many days? Isn't it somewhere?
It's close to 40 days.
It's close to 40. Think about, people do, but even think about 20 days. 3 weeks. 3 weeks, whatever today is, imagine 3 weeks from now, you could be down 20 pounds.
Right.
Think about that. And again, if you want to sign right back up for another 20 days, do the full 40 days. And I will say this, doing it goes by a lot faster because you are motivated and you're ready to go. And it's 40, basically 6 weeks. You're looking at about 6 weeks for that. And it changes your life. That's a trade that we talk about all the time. 40 days to change your life, and Dr. Abood can do it. So again, thinkthincleveland.com, get signed up. Free again, $27. You can get that body composition analysis. You can walk out after that. $27 is it.
I just want to assure nobody's going to badger you to sign up. And if you have an issue, you call me on my cell, and I want to hear about it. We'll make it right.
So body composition analysis, and you get that information too. You can walk out with that information and learn a little bit. And there are plenty of people, I know I said we're going to wrap up, but I will say this, Doctor, but there are plenty of people that will get that body composition analysis and they read through and they think about it, and then they come back weeks later. They finally think, you know what, that's it.
Makes sense.
I remember you walked out.
Yeah, I was like,
man. You're like,
I'm not doing this.
And you thought about it, you're just like, I don't know about that.
Yeah. I tell people I was a skeptic. I was.
The final thing is, you can wait too. If you know that there's some big event coming up, if you know you're going to be on vacation, don't start it on your vacation. But if you know there's something coming up, you can go in, get the body composition analysis done on a Tuesday, go on vacation a Wednesday through Sunday, and start the following week.
Yeah.
So,
and if you've got a health savings account, that expires at the end of the year, just use it. You can get it used.
Yeah, for sure. ThinkThinkCleveland.com for all the answers there, Dr. Abood. We really appreciate it. And hopefully, like I said, we reached out to somebody, answered a question that somebody might have had out there, or just got you motivated to sign up. ThinkThinkCleveland.com.
Love it. Thanks, guys.